Hey there, wild spirits. This is Chrissy Martin with brightspiritrising.com. Today is July 27th, 2018. It's full moon, and it's the date of a pretty significant lunar eclipse. And so I thought I'd just do a little bit of a reading and clairvoyant visioning around that. It just feels like a really major major shift right now to me. And I don't know, it's just me, but I am feeling all sorts of just energetic shifts happening, and I'm feeling it in my body. And I'm hearing a lot of people saying this, that there's just a lot of just physical people who are sensitive to this kind of energy. You may be feeling it in your body. Personally, I'm feeling it just sort of like, when you get really toxic, if you've been, your body just needs to release stuff. It feels like there's this humongous buildup of just toxins, and I'm trying to figure out like, how to get rid of it. But it feels like, it's just something that needs to work through. So if you've been exceptionally tired lately, or just emotionally, there's a lot of emotional turmoil going on. It really feels like it's connected with what's happening astrologically. So just hang in there. All right. So anyway, just a few things around this that I wanted to bring up. I did do a spirit animal. I pulled a card today for that, and just for this whole eclipse thing. And the card that came up was elephant. Let me pull that up in just a sec here. Oh, for whatever reason, it's not wanting to do it. There it is. Okay. All right, so elephant. In relation to this, what I'm getting, what I'm really feeling very clearly, is that this whole eclipse has a lot to do with shifts in the masculine. Okay, so masculine consciousness has really been prevalent on this planet for a couple thousand years, for a long time. And there is this shift, where the feminine is rising. But in order for that to really happen, feminine and masculine need to work together in harmony. And for the feminine to really take its place and, step into, for us to step into our feminine power, the masculine power really needs to be in its power as well, okay? The masculine energy needs to be in its power. And that means able to step aside and able to play its role as the support for holding space for this feminine energy that's coming up. And there's a lot of resistance to that. So a lot of this turmoil that you may have been feeling, and that's happening in the world, has to do with the masculine just resisting, or this resistance. I shouldn't say the masculine energy itself, but there's a resistance to stepping into more of the supportive role, which is really important. And it's really important to say that the role of the masculine is so important, because they've got to work together. And I love watercolor actually as a medium, because I paint all these images, because it really demonstrates that. If you think of the masculine as the structure behind, when you do a painting, when I did this painting of the elephants, I drew first the elephants and the moon and so forth. And once the structure was there, I was able to drop in the paint and let it flow. Okay. And so what the masculine tends, does, and is really good at, is creating the structure, holding the space, protecting the space, holding it, so that the feminine can step in and have this flow that allows things to just happen in beautiful ways. But they're both really necessary, and they both need to live in harmony. Because what happens when they're not in harmony, the feminine goes all over the place, and then the masculine wants to control, and it's not beautiful. Okay, so when they're working together, we get beauty. We get flow. We get harmony. We get art. We get beautiful singing. We get angelic. It's sort of just this angelic sort of state of being, bliss. Okay, so some of the things have been moving forward for me, and I also want to just share with you another painting that came up recently. This is one that I worked on in collaboration with another light worker, and I think it really also addresses what's going on here. Elephant has a lot to do with power, and feminine power in particular, because elephants are this matriarchal, they have this matriarchal social structure, and this beautiful relationships between the elephants, and that the males tend to be sort of outside of that. And what happens is that the males will go into, it's sort of like in heat, it's called muth, and they can get really, really enraged and out of control. So this has a lot to do with controlling the emotions, to regulate that energy. We have to be aware enough to realize that we are not our emotions. It's so easy to get sucked into emotions. And when that happens, we're like an elephant on a rampage, and it can really be a destructive force, or just a force that doesn't bring us into the harmony that we need to have in order to move forward into a more blissful state of being. Okay, so this has a lot to do with, one of the really strong sides of the masculine, when masculine's in alignment, it has a lot to do with conscious awareness, and maintaining that conscious awareness so that we can control what's happening to us within us. Control in and of itself isn't always a bad thing. If it's control based on conscious awareness and based on high levels of consciousness, higher vibrational consciousness, then control becomes a very positive thing. Okay, so this is really about being very aware of what's going on with you. And one of the things I've been guided to do over the past day or so is become very aware of the concept of flow. The concept of, like, when you're in the flow of who you are, when you're feeling in flow, things just naturally fall into place. Things feel easy. It takes, so much less time to get things done when you're in flow. Things tend to just happen very, very, very easily. And then when we're out of flow, that's when we feel blocked, when things don't work out and we just feel frustrated. Okay, so an encouragement with this is, when these things come up, just to pay very close attention, especially throughout the next 3 days, but even after that, to when are you feeling in flow? What does that feel like? And when you catch yourself in a state of flow, when things are just happening, flowing really easily, maybe you're having a conversation with somebody and it feels really good. Maybe you're doing a project and it's just flowing out and it's coming very easy. Just pay attention to what that feels like in your body. Pay attention to how your emotions feel. And then also, when you find yourself in a stuck place, when you find yourself just caught up in these, whirling emotions, negative emotions, caught up in the whirlwind, feeling enraged, feeling upset, feel into what that feels like, and see if you can start being aware of what might have set some of those things off, what's going on in your field, what's going on with you energetically. Maybe, like I just fired in my writing work, I just fired a client, and they're a major client, but they were sending me a lot of stuff. They were paying me very well. But I just was going crazy. It was this crazy making energy. It was a relatively new client, and I just realized that it was throwing my whole world off because, and maybe if I had a little bit stronger personal protection or something, then maybe I would have been able to work with them without that happening. But as it was not a good fit for my energy and where I need to be right now. So I just cut off the relationship. So just being aware of, when you're not in flow, when things are not flowing well, look around and see, okay, what's affecting my energy? What's affecting my energy that's throwing off this feeling of flow, that's contributing to this feeling of, emotional upset or being blocked. And it may be something as simple as, I need to sleep more. It may be just something physical. It may be that there is something that you need to cut out in your life. And that is very likely true for most of us, because what's happening with this big energetic shift is that we're being asked to just be more true to ourselves, to come into ourselves more. And that almost always requires some kind of sacrifice, because there's going to be things in your life that are not in alignment with your truth, that are not in alignment with, staying true to yourself through this new energy coming in. They're just not serving your purpose anymore. And that doesn't mean that they're bad. We can bless them for, just what they are, for, they probably maybe served our purpose earlier. But once you figure out, what it is that's throwing a monkey wrench in the works, it's really time to drop it. And I guarantee you, if you don't drop the things that aren't serving you with this new energy coming in, you're going to stay in this kind of whirlwind kind of existence until you start shedding the things that aren't serving you. And it can be really hard. It can be really hard. It can be like a relationship that you're in, and just to be honest with yourself. And I know it's hard. Like, you may be married with kids and all sorts, there may be all sorts of reasons to stay in the relationship, but really feel into yourself. Feel into the truth of who you are. Is this relationship, or whatever it is, it may be a job. It might even be the color of your room. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, it may not be convenient to change it or to walk away from it, but really feel into the truth of who you are. Is it serving you? And if it's not, really consider just letting it go. Okay? I think that's probably enough for now. And if you feel like this has been helpful to you, I'd encourage you to like the video, to share, and to hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell when you do, and you'll get updated about future videos. And check me out on brightspiritrising.com. Okay, so till next time, don't forget to breathe and be free.